Obi Okonkwo carried a heavy weight on his shoulders. He was the grandson of a great warrior, Okonkwo, whose legacy loomed large over the village. His father, though considered weak by some, had converted to Christianity, a decision that had divided opinions in the community. This paved the way for Obi's privileged upbringing in the village of Umuofia, where he was seen as a bridge to a brighter future. The villagers had high hopes for Obi, seeing him as their ticket to progress and prosperity. They had pooled their resources to send him to England for his education, a collective investment in their future. He was their bright star, their beacon of hope, the one who would bring change. They believed he would return and elevate them all, lifting the entire village to new heights. Obi felt the pressure of their expectations, a constant weight on his mind. He knew they saw him as the bridge between their traditional past and a modern future, a role that was both an honor and a burden. He was determined to succeed, to make his family and his village proud, to fulfill the dreams they had for him. But the weight of their dreams was a heavy burden to bear, often leaving him feeling isolated and overwhelmed. It fueled his ambition, but also sowed the seeds of his downfall, as the pressure sometimes became too much to handle. Obi was torn between two worlds, each pulling him in different directions. He loved his family and respected their traditions, cherishing the values they had instilled in him. But he also embraced the possibilities offered by Western education, seeing it as a path to progress. This internal conflict would shape his destiny, influencing every decision he made. His journey would be one of both triumph and tragedy, marked by moments of great joy and deep sorrow. It mirrored the larger narrative of Nigeria's struggle for identity in the wake of colonialism, a nation finding its way in a changing world. England was a world away from the familiar rhythms of Umuofia, a place where the air was thick with the sounds of nature and the warmth of community. Obi immersed himself in his studies, spending countless hours in the library and engaging in deep discussions with his peers. He excelled in his coursework, impressing his professors with his sharp mind and eagerness to learn, often staying after class to delve deeper into complex subjects. He believed that education held the key to progress, both for himself and for Nigeria, envisioning a future where knowledge could transform society. He dreamed of returning home with the knowledge and skills to make a real difference, to uplift his community and inspire others. He envisioned a Nigeria free from the shackles of colonialism, a nation standing proud and independent. He would help build a nation where opportunity existed for all, where education and hard work could lead to a better life. But England also exposed Obi to a new set of values, ones that were both intriguing and unsettling. He encountered racism and prejudice, which challenged his idealized view of the Western world, making him question the very foundations of the society he admired. He witnessed a level of individual freedom that contrasted sharply with the communal structure of his village, a freedom that was both liberating and isolating. Obi found himself caught between two worlds, each with its own set of values and expectations. He grappled with reconciling his newfound knowledge with the traditions he had left behind, a task that proved to be more challenging than he had anticipated. This struggle would continue long after he returned to Nigeria, a constant battle between progress and tradition. It would ultimately contribute to his tragic downfall, a poignant reminder of the complexities of cultural identity and the cost of ambition. Returning to Nigeria, Obi was eager to make his mark. He had spent years abroad, studying and preparing for this moment. He secured a coveted position in the civil service, a role that many aspired to but few achieved. He saw this as his chance to serve his people and contribute to building a new Nigeria, a nation he dreamed could rise above its challenges. He held on to his ideals, believing that integrity and hard work could make a difference. He believed he could resist the temptations of corruption that plagued the system, determined to be a beacon of honesty. However, he soon realized that the reality of colonial Nigeria was far more complex than he had imagined. The remnants of colonial rule still influenced many aspects of life. The lines between tradition and modernity were blurred, creating a unique but challenging environment. He encountered a society grappling with its newfound independence, trying to forge a new identity while respecting its past. Old ways clashed with new ideas, creating a sense of unease and uncertainty that permeated everyday life. Obi found himself caught in the middle, torn between different worlds and expectations. He faced criticism from his own people for adopting Western ways, seen as abandoning his roots. His extended family, burdened by poverty and tradition, saw him as their ticket to a better life, placing immense pressure on him. They demanded financial support and favors, expecting him to fulfill their needs. Obi struggled to balance their expectations with his desire to live an independent life, feeling the weight of their hopes on his shoulders. He became increasingly disillusioned with the corruption he witnessed within the government, realizing that change was harder than he thought. He realized that the path to progress was not as straightforward as he had once believed, but he remained determined to find a way forward. Obi's idealism began to crumble under the weight of his overwhelming circumstances. He faced mounting financial pressures, both from his family's relentless demands and his own desire to maintain a certain lifestyle. The temptations of corruption, which he had initially resisted, became harder and harder to ignore. He justified his actions by telling himself that he was only borrowing the money temporarily. He believed he would repay it once he got back on his feet and stabilized. But his debts grew, and with them, his sense of guilt and deepening despair. Obi's descent into corruption was a gradual but steady and inevitable decline. It mirrored the moral decay that plagued Nigerian society in the wake of colonialism. The old ways were crumbling, but they had not been replaced with a stable and just system. Obi became a symbol of this societal malaise, a victim of the very forces he had once hoped to combat. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications.